After James Comer told Jamie Raskin this morning at the House Oversight Committee hearing that he needed therapy because of his Trump derangement syndrome, Jared Moskowitz decided to play therapist and take James Comer through 5 minutes of a therapy session of his own.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me start by saying that obviously Chairman Comer's not here, but I think in light of what we witnessed earlier, I think it's important that together as a committee that we begin Chairman Comer's therapy session, right? A member of the other side wanted to confirm what the title of the hearing was, right? That Chinese propaganda. Well, we know the title of the hearing certainly isn't about impeachment anymore. And Chairman Comer has suffered tremendous loss. And we all know in our life what it's like to suffer tremendous loss. There's all sorts of different stages of grief, and that's the loss, obviously, of his impeachment hearing. And everyone deals with that different ways, and sometimes it takes time to grieve and struggle and fill that hole, that void that now exists now that he no longer has impeachment. But the only way we as a committee are going to help Chairman Comer get better is we have to get to the root cause, right? So for today's therapy session, okay, I want to talk about denial, right? The denial that the impeachment hearings are over. And the denial, obviously, that he started with the 1023 form, which was Russian disinformation. And so, Chairman Comer, psychology teaches us that, someone might be, like him, using denial as a defense mechanism. And signs include that you refuse to talk about the problem, you find ways to justify your behavior, you blame other people or outside forces for causing the problem, you persist in your behavior despite the consequences, you promise to address the problem maybe in the future, or you avoid thinking about the problem. And so in addition to these signs that Chairman Comer has been displaying, as we saw in the beginning, he also might be feeling hopeless or helpless. I just want the chairman to know that we're pulling for him. We really are. I know it's been hard to become someone who was used by the Russians, but the good news is that he set this hearing today on Chinese propaganda because we've already lost him to Russian propaganda. I mean, we got to build a force field around the chairman to make sure we don't lose him to Chinese propaganda as well. And in fact, you can see behind me, these are quotes from the chairman, Chairman Comer, every single solitary time, and there are hundreds more, that he went on TV in interviews and talked about this 1023 form, which was all Russian disinformation. But we got to make the chairman understand that it's going to be okay. We will get him through this, but he's got to recognize that denial is not just a river in Egypt. He is going to have to face the fact that he was taken by the Russians.
Who knew that Jared Moskowitz was also a licensed therapist? Now, I kid, of course, he is not. But James Comer absolutely needed to hear this in order for him to face the realization that he's been used, like Jared Moskowitz says. The entire Republican Party and MAGA have been used by Russians for years, and this is just a continuation of that. Now, Jared Moskowitz's kind of sarcastic therapy session turned into a more serious, had a more serious note to it when he addressed Republicans using Nazis as propaganda.
Now, I want to address something else that went on in this committee by another member. And I say this as someone whose grandparents escaped the Holocaust. So my grandmother was part of the Kindertransport out of Germany. Her parents were killed in Auschwitz. My grandfather, her husband, escaped Poland from the pogroms. The idea that we pretend that behavior is acceptable and regular. There are no concentration camps in Ukraine. They're not taking babies and shooting them in the air because they're Jewish. There's no gas chambers. There's no ovens. They're not railing people in. They're not ripping gold out of people's mouth. They're not taking stuff out of their home. They're not trying to erase a people. They're Ukrainians. Stop bringing up Nazis and Hitler. The only people who know about Nazis and Hitler are the 10 million people and their families who lost their loved ones, generations of people who were wiped out. It is enough of this disgusting behavior using Nazis as propaganda. You want to talk about Nazis? Get yourself over to the Holocaust Museum. You go see what Nazis did. It's despicable that we use that and we allow it and we sit here like somehow it's regular. Oh, Mr. Chairman, I welcome you back. I'm sorry we were trying to talk together and get you through the hearing, but I look forward potentially to talking to you at a future session. So thank you. I yield back.
So we've got a twofer today. We've got Republicans using Russian disinformation and Russian lies to try to hit the president, to try to make Joe Biden into some criminal, while they're also using Nazi propaganda to try to harm Ukraine, one of America's key allies in the fight against Russian aggression. So here we just have another two examples of why the Republican Party is morally bankrupt and just truly disgusting.
This is an extremely concerning situation. I don't think anyone in the United States government, Americans, do not support actual Nazis or white supremacists. I know I certainly do not.
Interesting to hear my colleague just now talk about disavowing white supremacists when in 2022, she spoke at an event led by white supremacist and white nationalist Nick Fuentes, and when asked about it, doubled down on it and said, we're going to focus on people, not labels. So get out of here with that damn hypocrisy.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the clips. As always, Jared Moskowitz and Jamie Raskin make frequent appearances on this channel. I'm always talking about clips of theirs because they are always handing it to Republicans, making them look like the fools and the liars that they are. So if you like videos like that, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and leave your comments, your reflections down below in the comment section, where I will be for the next half an hour or so after the video is published, so I can talk to you guys about what we just witnessed. Thanks again for watching. My name is Brendan Plank with Reflect here on YouTube. See you in the next video.